Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So today I'm doing something a little bit different and I'm very excited. I had a request over on Instagram from someone called Jordan, hi, who is a vegetarian, and he hasn't seen any vegetarian meals on my channel because we're meat eaters. However, my dad keeps saying how he wants to sort of go vegetarian once or twice a week, you know, just to save money and also to help the planet, because we can all do our little bit. And I think it might not be much for you guys, but once or twice a week eating meat-free is better than none. So I'm very excited. Got my veggies. Went for a little shop around Morrison's and got loads of vegetables, which was really satisfying. I looked very healthy. So tonight is Monday, and I thought it would be the perfect night to do like a pasta tray bake. I got this recipe off of a YouTuber that I watch. Can't think of his name. I will link him down below and his recipe. I've changed it, he got it from someone else and he's changed it. So I've made alterations because there are certain vegetables and certain things that I can't eat. So I will be putting an edited version of this recipe on my website once it's all done and dusted and delicious. Thought doing pasta bake would be really good because I can have them for my lunch at work this week. So let's get to it. So day one, I'm gonna do 5 days, I think, 5 meals. So this is number one. Okay, so this is all the ingredients you're going to need. It isn't really that much and I like them all. So you're just gonna need some cheddar, some mozzarella, garlic, pasta. Again, this is just the pasta that I chose. You can really choose whatever you fancy. I've got peas, but again, that was meant to be broccoli, but unfortunately I can't eat broccoli. A tin of chopped tomatoes, some passata, some golden breadcrumbs. They're supposed to be panko breadcrumbs, but they were really expensive. So I'm gonna see if this works because I'm all about budgeting. Some mushrooms. Again, you don't have to add the mushrooms, I just fancied it. Courgettes, some leek and some onion. So this meal actually comes out at £3 something. I will put the exact price on the screen now. Really cheap. I'll let you know how much it makes because obviously I'm going to be using these for my lunch for the week ahead. So I think that's a really good budget-friendly meal. Right, let's get cooking. Okay, so you're going to start off by prepping all your vegetables. So once the vegetables are all prepped, you're going to boil the pasta. Mine took about 7 to 10 minutes. In a separate pan, while the pasta is boiling away, you're going to fry off the leek and onion. Just fry them off until they're nice and soft. There we go, so once they're nice and soft, I'm then going to add the courgettes in. And just cook these until tender. So in a separate frying pan, I'm now going to fry off the mushrooms. I did this separately because I like them really crispy and yummy, and I think they just go a bit funny if you put them in. You could do this with the courgettes and everything, but I just think it's a nice little flavour on top to have them all nice and caramelised. So make sure you keep stirring the other pot as you go. Now the courgettes are nice and cooked, I'm going to add the garlic. My garlic always sticks to boards. And done. There we go. And give that a good stir, but you don't, just try not to burn the garlic because that's, you can't, yeah, it's disgusting. Okay, and now we're going to add the peas. Obviously these don't take very long, so you want to add them quite near to the end. Add some mixed herbs. And just keep an eye on those mushrooms as you go. Okay, that is looking good. Now we're going to make the sort of tomato sauce. Just going to add my chopped tomatoes. Keeping an eye on those mushrooms. And then I'm going to add the passata. Again, this recipe only said to use like 300 ml or grams of the passata, but I don't see the point. I added it all and it was absolutely fine because I've just figured I'm not going to use the rest of that for anything else. So save the wastage and just use the whole packet. So give it a good stir and just let it simmer for a little while until it thickens. and try not to eat all the mushrooms. And there we go. Once the sauce is nice and thick, just add the pasta back in. And just try and stir it and try not to break the pasta. If you cook it too much, it will go really stodgy, so just make sure you don't overcook it. And there you go, look at that. That does look pretty good. And yeah, it doesn't look too tomatoey. I was worried that it'd be really runny, but it's not. So definitely you can add the whole thing of passata. Okay, and then just pop it into an oven-proof dish and sprinkle over all of your cheeses. And then after that, you're gonna add the breadcrumbs. I would put more breadcrumbs on next time. I wouldn't recommend doing as little as I did, because you really want it to add a nice texture on top. I then just added my mushrooms. Again, this is optional, you really don't have to add the mushrooms, but they did give like a nice meaty flavour, so I would recommend doing it this way. And then I just cooked it until it was all nice and gooey and crispy on top. And there you go. So that made lunch for my whole week, and it actually made 10 portions, and obviously my dad had some for lunches, and we did eat quite a lot on the first night, like more than one portion each, because it was so good. So as a meat eater, I can definitely recommend this recipe. We did not miss the meat in this at all, and it was really, really cheap. Right, see you tomorrow for another recipe. Okay guys, so it's another day and another vegetarian meal. So tonight I'm going to be making a mushroom risotto. This is something that we actually make quite often anyway. It is probably the one meat-free meal that we do have sort of on a regular basis. So for this recipe, you're going to need risotto rice, some mushrooms, some spinach, or I think you can use kale as well, but I'm not 100% sure, some onion, a vegetable stock cube, but stupidly I used a chicken one because I was just on autopilot and that's what we usually use. But so I'm really sorry. Completely failed from the start. So yeah, vegetable stock cube, not chicken. And you're gonna want some garlic, the more the better I find. You're gonna need some oil, and you're gonna want some wine. We don't drink wine in our house, so I don't like buying the big bottles because I tend to use half of them and then pour the rest down the sink. Okay, and that is it. So that comes to about £5, I think 5.04. So it's quite, you know, compared to the last one, it's quite expensive, but in reality, it's a bargain. And that makes, I believe, 6 portions, but I'll put it on the screen just in case I'm incorrect. So first you want to heat up a little bit of rapeseed oil in your pans, and you're going to fry off the onion in one pan, in the bigger pan, and then the mushrooms in a smaller pan. So the mushrooms are going to go on at the end, so you want them to get all nice and crispy and caramelised. And then the onions, you just want to get them a little bit soft. And once they're nice and soft, we're going to add a bit of garlic, or a lot of garlic in this case. And it seems I can't use a garlic press with one hand. So I'm just going to fast forward to when the garlic is all done and dusted, because this is just embarrassing. Squeeze. Nope, not happening. Fast forward. There we go. Nice and easy. Effortless. And just fry it off for another minute or so. You don't want to overcook the garlic and burn it, because that just does not taste good. Now you're going to add your risotto rice. Again, all of the measurements and ingredients and stuff, they are in the description box below on my website. Okay, so give that a good stir. I like to use a nice spatula because you can scrape around the edges. Now we're going to add our lovely bottle of wine, and it is a small bottle. My hands aren't that big. There we go, and just simmer it for a little bit. Okay, let's skip ahead to when it is all good. And now, look at that. So now it's bubbling away. Most of the wine has burnt off, and give it a good stir. Make sure it doesn't stick to the bottom. It shouldn't with a non-stick, but it can burn, and that's not good. Okay, so there we go. Now we're going to add your vegetable stock cube. Again, ignore me. Vegetable stock cube, because it's a vegetarian meal. And just a little bit of water. I don't make my stock up in a jug. I just add the stock cube into the actual pan and then add the water. And you just want to gradually add the water a bit at a time and let it simmer to cook the rice. So you're going to gradually add the water in. Each time it sort of soaks in, just add a bit more. We're going to skip ahead to the part where the risotto rice is nice and cooked. There we go. So now we just want to season it a little bit. I'd taste it. When it gets near to being cooked, give it a good taste and a good season. I think I ended up adding another stock cube. It was chicken, I'm sorry. But yeah, you can add more. Just sort of see how you feel really. And there we go. Now, oh my god, I've lost my voice. This is not good. Sorry, I've just lost my voice, so I'm going to keep talking. Okay, now the risotto is basically done. You're going to add in your spinach. And just give that a stir, pop the lid back on and leave it to cook until the spinach is defrosted and gone all nice and soft. And there we go, look at that. You can see all the spinach is sort of spread throughout and it is looking a really nice consistency. We don't want it too dry and don't want it burning, but you also don't want it to be watery. And there we have it. That is that done, so I'm going to serve up, and then those mushrooms that we cooked earlier are just going to be sprinkled on top and just have a really nice like nutty flavour. And I also think with this, I love using mushrooms because they taste so meaty that you just don't miss the meat at all. And you could of course add chicken, but I personally don't like chicken in risotto. I don't know why, considering I'm a meat eater, but I much prefer mushrooms. I think they're so good. Right, I'm gonna eat now. And there we go. Even the dog wants some. I don't think she'd like it though, honestly. Right, weird, maybe, I don't know. I like lemon juice on my risotto. Tell me below if that's weird, but I love it. Right, I will see you tomorrow for another recipe. Hey guys, so I'm just editing this week's video and it is actually really long, I think just because I go in so much depth with my recipes. So this is going to be part 1 of 2. So next Thursday, when I bring my next video out, that's going to be part 2 and I'll have a load more recipes on there for you. I hope you enjoyed it. I definitely really enjoyed making everything, and spoiler alert, the recipes are so good and so yummy. I'm definitely going to be adding them to my regular recipes that I use. Like I said earlier, all of the recipes will be linked below on my website because I used some base recipes, but really most of them I think I changed. But the ones I didn't change, I'll also link the original recipes down below as well. Okay, thanks for watching guys, and I'll see you next week.